6 hours until we bring in the new year. 6 hours of closing out 2017. And man, what a 2017 it was for SEC basketball. They reemerged as a national brand, and now I get to close it out. SEC opener in Rupp Arena, Kentucky, Georgia. It's a black tie affair, and I get to walk to work. Man, for Kentucky tonight against Georgia, they got to be concerned about number one, Yante Maten. He used to shoot inside an elevator as a freshman. 0 3-pointers made. But that's not the case anymore for Yante Maten, who leads the SEC in points per game and rebounds per game. You see the triangle on the floor? That's where he can make a shot. On the line or inside the triangle, and the top of the key three, teams have got to be aware of, because when he gets it there, if you're not closing out, he's hitting it right in your face. It's what makes him so versatile. Because he's so comfortable in all of these different areas, it forces defenses to have to react and play very differently. He's a tough matchup, especially for these Cats. It's the first SEC game for these young Kentucky Wildcats. Now, the difference between these Cats and last year's Cats is you don't know who's going to lead you in scoring. It could be a different guy every single night. And it has been that way for the last 4 games. 4 games ago was P.J. Washington. He had 20. Knox, 21 versus Virginia Tech. Diallo, he's been on a tear. He had 18 against UCLA. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off the bench against Louisville with 24. Kevin, hold down the fort. Happy New Year's, buddy. I'm on my way.
And a happy new year to you as well, Sean Farnham. Get your rear end down here, brother. We got an SEC basketball game on ESPN. December 31st, the last night of 2017, and the first night of SEC play for the 9-2 Georgia Bulldogs and the 16th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. And down the stairs he comes from the Hyatt Regency next door to Rupp Arena's courtside seat for Sean Farnham. We wait for him. We take a look at John Calipari, nearly unblemished in SEC career in opening games. Only the Bulldogs got him 6 years ago. And the man of the hour, Sean Farnham, the aforementioned one.
Happy New Year, partner.
Happy New Year to you, too. It's great to be here in Rupp. Should be a fantastic atmosphere.
Well, and you look at Georgia, and I saw you were talking about Coach Cal as I was looking at the monitor, but how about Mark Fox in the last 10 days that he's had? Not only did they pick up a couple of important wins over Georgia Tech and Temple, they've crushed it in the recruiting front. There's a lot of momentum building for the Georgia Bulldogs. You want to capitalize on that by trying to get your first ever win inside this building.
And they nearly had it last year. Took Kentucky to overtime. Only a Malik Monk jumper in the final seconds of regulation sent it there. Wildcats won all 3 meetings between these teams last year, and Georgia frankly felt like it could have won the first 2. John Calipari said as much, talking to us before the game. We got lucky last year to win those 2 games. It is an entirely different Kentucky team now, as you mentioned. 5 freshman starters for the Wildcats. We'll tip it up. Tony Green, Tony Henderson, Ron Gruber, and here we go.
The question now is, are they going to play with the desperation that they played with against Louisville just on Friday? And that desperation doesn't mean anything more than valuing every single possession, and I think that's the key if you want to see growth in this Kentucky team.
Well, Georgia gets the opening 2 with Derek Obede inside, the big junior out of Atlanta. Just 53 hours ago, Kentucky tipped it off with this starting 5, Green, Diallo, Washington, Knox, and Richards, all freshmen, blasted Louisville 90-61 after a loss to UCLA just 6 days prior. Georgia Bulldogs at 9-2, coming off that big win over Temple, 84-66 last Friday. Yante Maten, the star. They're going to travel up top against the freshman Rayshawn Hammonds.
I think that one was on Bede before even the pass. I think he just lost his balance right there. First 2 possessions, though, here's what I want to see. I want to see Yante Maten touch the ball. He's got a freshman guarding him, and Yante has had a ton of success against the Kentucky Wildcats individually. He's got to be involved in the game plan, and he's got to get touches every single possession.
This the freshman P.J. Washington hit nothing on a 3. It will be Georgia basketball. Well, the Bulldogs at 9-2 were 19-15 last year, a season of close calls. They brought back nearly their whole roster. They lost J.J. Frazier, who was Georgia's leading scorer, a big loss. Maten has continued to develop his game, and this young man, William Turtle Jackson, has stepped in nicely at point guard as Jackson is fouled, taking it across half court. P.J. Washington with a personal for Kentucky.
And for a lot of fans that maybe haven't seen a lot of Georgia basketball, I've already called a couple of their games this year. Here's where they've gotten better. All right, we've talked about Kentucky playing with desperation, aggressiveness against Louisville and how important that was. Where Georgia's really improved is actually getting back to its roots, man-to-man defense. And they played a lot of zone a season ago. This year they're going back to their man. The last two games in particular, much better than the first couple.
Wildcats step under the screen, and Jackson hits a long two.
They're going to review it, though. The officials gave the signal to the scorer's table to see if it was a three.
Last year in this building, Georgia got out to a 12-0 lead. Bulldogs have the first two buckets on this Sunday night. Up top of three. Off the mark for the point guard, Quade Green, and a foul underneath against Kentucky.
This start couldn't be any better for the Georgia Bulldogs. A good screen. They trail underneath it. Nobody really puts a hand up, and Turl Jackson able to dial it up and knock it in. The execution very precise right now for the Georgia Bulldogs.
It is a deep Georgia team. They will go 10 or 11 deep most games.
That's another change from a season ago for Mark Fox. His team struggled getting any production off the bench. This year, they're plus 55 in points off the bench.
Bulldogs looking for their first win in this arena since 2009, the year before either of these coaches joined the teams. Hammond's way off the mark at a three, and here is Quade Green, the tough as nails freshman from Newman-Goretti High School in Philadelphia. Offensive foul is called underneath against Kentucky, and Nick Richards has just picked up two quick ones.
Veteran experience versus a freshman. And Yante Maton sold it, but Richards frustrated because the offensive rebound that he got called on the foul in the previous possession. He leaned in, extended the arm just enough to allow Yante Maton to grab the attention of the official.
So Richards quickly to the bench. Sasha Kalia-Jones, the sophomore, in to replace him. The first non-freshman into the game for Kentucky, which is in foul trouble in a hurry. Two on Richards, and now two against P.J. Washington.
In our camera meeting about an hour and a half ago in this building, I told our camera crew and our director, Mike Ireland, who's back there, I said, listen, Yante Maton's going to pick up two personal fouls on P.J. Washington in the first 5 minutes of this game. And he did it in less than that. And that's where Yante Maton can impact the game, not just there, too, because he can do that.
Off the mark, a 3-second chance bucket. Rayshawn Hammonds for Georgia. And John Calipari infuriated with a quick timeout.
Well, he's infuriated because there's been no desperation out of his team. All that energy, all that effort we saw on Friday against Louisville, it's not there right now, but it is for Georgia. And they're out in front, 6-0.
Two fouls against P.J. Washington, two against Nick Richards. Wenyon Gabriel has checked in for Kentucky, as has the freshman Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. With the ball now, coming off a season-high 24 points in the win over Louisville Friday. 90-61 the final there. The Wildcats were terrific, particularly in the second half. Played with great energy all game, though. And they've given up 6 in a row to start here. Kevin Knox misses a tough two. Gabriel the follow, no. Tipped on the rim and put in. Gabriel was there, Hamidou Diallo as well, and either way, Kentucky has its first bucket.
Well, just look at that last possession, the hustle that you saw from the Wildcats. 3, 4 white jerseys swarming to the basketball, playing volleyball above the rim.
That was announced for Gabriel, though Diallo was in the way. A kick-out three off the mark from Etorian Wilridge, but another offensive rebound. Turtle Jackson in there, the point guard out of Athens for Georgia. This is a Kentucky that is awfully long and athletic. Gilgeous-Alexander with 6'6", his height and an extraordinary wingspan on the ball at first. Ogbede, though, flips it around Kalia-Jones.
And Ogbede is kind of the guy that I think if Georgia's going to find success in the SEC, he has to do two things really well. Rebound the basketball and score deep post position. That's all he's got to do. He doesn't have to do anything more. Don't worry about any other aspect of his game.
Has the ball here. He had a very good game against Kentucky last year on the 31st of January. Career high 18 last season. Maton to three.
That's not his spot. As I showed you in the open, his spot is at the top of the key. If you're forcing him to shoot wing threes, that's going to benefit Kentucky. That is not the strength of Yante Maton's game.
More diverse shooter this year, but that's out of that triangle that you visualized to start. A foul against Georgia sends us to our first media timeout. The Dogs up 6.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Adidas.
Tony Green, Tony Henderson, and Ron Gruber, our officiating crew, and they are reviewing that long two, as it was called on the floor, by Turtle Jackson. Here's a look at this from up top. You be the judge.
Well, all you got to do is look right there, and I think they're going to give him the extra point. Now, the review process is new and improved in the SEC. And they're working back with the home offices back in Birmingham, Alabama. And all reviews, initiated, final decisions are made by the game officials, but they're being helped by Terry Moore, a longtime official and is now the coordinator of men's basketball replay for the SEC. Kind of like what we see, going back to New York in the NFL to try to get a little help there and speed up the process. Anything that's going to keep the flow of the game better is something I'm all in favor of.
Well, they did just reveal that play, the officials, to be a 2, as it was called on the floor.
My eyes aren't as good as Terry Moore's, I guess, back in Birmingham.
Your New Year's resolution is to get glasses.
That might be. I'm excited, man. You know what? There's nothing better than the start of conference play. And if you were watching college basketball yesterday, and you're a basketball fan, and maybe you don't even like the college game, you're just all into the NBA. If you weren't watching college basketball yesterday, I have no idea what's going to excite you. It was fantastic basketball from Oklahoma, TCU, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Villanova losing to Butler. You had Arizona State last night.
How about all 3 unbeaten teams in the country go down in the same day? Knox fouled by Hammonds on the way up. We can't even make it to 2018 with an unbeaten team. And the SEC had a terrific day of basketball. A lot of fun, particularly in that Arkansas-Tennessee overtime thriller. And Alabama, it was a shorthanded Texas A&M team. No DJ Hogg, no Admon Gilder, but that is a great win for the Crimson Tide.
Well, I'm just going to bring your attention to that Arkansas win against Tennessee. Tennessee has played as well as anybody in the conference, really, in the non-conference schedule. They did an outstanding job against multiple ACC teams. They beat Purdue in the battle for Atlantis. Rick Barnes has his team playing well. Macon and Barford took it to him. They combined for over 60 points between those two players from Mike Anderson's team. The fact that they're not ranked in the top 25, I've been saying this for a couple weeks, they're a top 25 team. They should be ranked. They will be ranked on Monday. I'll be shocked if they're not ranked in tomorrow's poll. But that's a team that's going to be right in the thick of SEC conference play all year long.
Maton's miss tipped in by the freshman Nicholas Claxton, who's coming off a season-best 14-9 against Temple last time out.
Everybody's so in love with Oklahoma, and deservedly so because of what Trae Young's done. Only one team in the country's beaten him. It's Arkansas.
Quade Green with a long 2 for Kentucky. Nice game on Friday for Green against Louisville. The starting point guard is a freshman. 4 state championships at his time at Newman Goretti out of Philadelphia.
I like the patience right now that Georgia's showing at the offensive end of the floor.
This is Juwan Parker inside. Claxton trying to go to work. Knocked away, those long arms for Kentucky with Gilgeous-Alexander helping out Gabriel.
I like this double guard lineup. This was a lineup that was very effective on Friday for Coach Calipari. Having Gilgeous-Alexander and Quade Green out on the floor at the same time.
Combined for 37, 9 assists, the 2-point guards. Knox with a fine. Green a 3. 5 in a row for Quade Green.
You've got to close out. Quade Green started the game on Friday really aggressive. And although his final numbers don't indicate his unbelievable performance, he was 4 of 6 with 13 points. As you mentioned, 5 really quick ones right there. You've got to close out to him on the 3-point line.
Maton, here's the quick double. Tries to work through it. No good. Gabriel the rebound for Kentucky. Wildcats could take their first lead, and Green is fouled.
Well, Quade Green all of a sudden said enough of this. Georgia's got the lead. They're taking it to us in our house. How can we change things? Even a little hesitation. Shot fake, gets his feet set underneath him. Able to knock down the 3. And then on the last possession, just drive right in the teeth of the defense and draw the foul and earn a trip to the free throw line.
How about that New Year's resolution for young Quade Green? Make the world a better place. It's a young man who has certainly made his own life as extraordinary as can be. A whole lot of folks know the story about him. Born 80% deaf, he did not speak for around a year growing up, had implants when he was young, and it's just something he doesn't much talk about anymore. It's so far removed from Quade Green's life. He has become an extraordinary player. Great young man, wants to be one of the best guards to ever play at this guard-rich school here at the University of Kentucky.
Almost a 5 count. Georgia did not recognize the pressure that Kentucky was throwing at him. You've got to be prepared for that.
Foul, by the way, the second against Turtle Jackson, so he leaves for the Dogs. With no Maton on the floor right now either. Tyree Crump in the game.
That's a double dribble.
O'Beatty with a turnover. First Super Tuesday of the college basketball season, just a couple of days away here on ESPN. Texas Tech had a big win Friday over Baylor. The Red Raiders get number 11 Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. They have never won there. Kansas 18-0 against Texas Tech since the Big 12's inception. That game live as well on the ESPN app.
You start the Big 12 season and it starts with Kansas, right? I mean, even though TCU only has 1 loss now after losing to Oklahoma yesterday, Oklahoma has 1 loss. They're playing so well. A lot of high expectations. It's not just Kansas this year, but it starts and ends with the Jayhawks. Fran Fraschilla, who does a great job covering the Big 12, says that every wintertime when we have our meetings back in Bristol, he goes, until somebody beats them, I'm buying Kansas. And that's the way it's going to continue to be.
There's a reckless drive against Derek O'Beatty and an offensive foul drawn by Gabriel. You know, this is an awfully deep conference here in the SEC we were talking about a little bit ago. That Big 12 is right up there, though, with 9 terrific teams.
It is a deep conference in the Big 12, but I think the best thing for the SEC is that they're being mentioned in the likeness of the Big 12 and the ACC this year. And a lot of that has to do going back to last March and then even moving forward into the early portions of the non-conference play.
On very, very early bracketology for Joe Lunardi. 7 teams are in, a couple more considered. 8 in the top 50 of Ken Pomeroy's rankings for the SEC, including this one. Gilgeous-Alexander to miss. Ty Wynyard way too strong on the follow. Wynyard, the redshirt sophomore from New Zealand, getting his first time in a few games.
Well, this is a lineup that struggles to score for Georgia. When Yante Maton's off the floor, all of a sudden things become a little bit more difficult at the offensive end.
Like Edwards off the feed from Woolridge. And the rebound to Gabriel, has played active minutes early for Kentucky. That's his 6th rebound. Gabriel got Edwards in the air and missed the 2. Sloppy start offensively for these teams in the opener of SEC play. Tyree Crump way off the mark. Stays on this end. O'Beatty with the offensive rebound. Crump did not play in the win over Temple 9 days ago. But he is a dead-eye shooter. Takes another one, misses it. Bulldogs have got a little cold from the field. They missed 5 in a row. Quade Green.
A pretty good job shoring up the defensive glass. The last 4 possessions for Georgia.
It's one of Mark Fox's big keys when we talked to him before the game. Hold Kentucky to 1 and done. That great length and athleticism, those long arms down low for the Wildcats. Woolridge tried a one-handed bouncer. That's taken away. Diallo ahead. Green with a finish.
That was a lazy pass and then poor defensive transition by Woolridge. You have to play with a better sense of purpose and energy. You're delivering a pass. You took a poor angle down to the block, and then you don't get back out in front of the defense to challenge.
Mark Fox takes a timeout for Georgia. When we return, we take a look at the year that was in the SEC. 8 in a row for Kentucky, all from the freshman Quade Green. The Wildcats have their first lead on the final day of 2017, a year that started out with Kentucky still the kings of the conference.
Yeah, dominated the conference, and then they made a name for themselves in the NCAA tournament. 11 wins, more than any other conference in the country. 3 teams in the Elite Eight, capped off by Frank Martin's Incredible run for the South Carolina Gamecocks all the way to the Final Four. Continuing that, they repaired their national imaging with a great non-conference in November and December. And it all started with Texas A&M taking on West Virginia on that game on ESPN and getting that win over in Germany. And then you look at Arkansas over Oklahoma, Tennessee, the multiple quality wins that they have. Kentucky, of course, picking up their schedule later and getting a good win against Virginia Tech and against Louisville.
Biggest reason for the renewed success of this conference?
Influx of talent. I mean, more top 100 kids. According to Paul Biancardi, he talks about it, does a great job with the ESPN 100 and Recruiting Nation. More top 100 kids last year came into the SEC. And when you have 26, which is a quarter of the entire top 100, they're not all coming to Kentucky. They're going elsewhere. Rayshawn Hammonds was a top 100 kid and is here at Georgia, and the freshman is still finding his way through. You saw Colin Sexton and John Petty yesterday.
Yeah. Sexton had 16, Petty 18 on 5 threes in the win for Alabama over Texas A&M. Avery Johnson building a program for the Crimson Tide. There's a turnover. Kalia Jones threw it away, looking for Gilgeous-Alexander.
You look at Missouri, too. Jeremiah Tillman, Jonte Porter. It's not just about Michael Porter, who obviously played 2 minutes before he was injured and hasn't been back out on the floor since.
It's a good Tigers team. A whole lot of depth there in Conzo Martin's first season in Columbia. Crump tries another. Georgia 0 for 6 from 3 to start. They're not necessarily a great three-point shooting team. Under 35% from deep on the year. Knox with a step-back 2. Both teams are off the mark early. Kentucky just 4 for 17. Georgia 5 for 16. That foul against Hamidou Diallo.
And one of the things that John Calipari talked to Kevin Knox about is stop thinking at the offensive end of the floor. He struggled against Louisville, just 1 of 7, although I thought his shot selection was actually very good. And probably 3 or 4 of those shots looked like they were going to go down and then just rimmed out. He's thinking a little bit too much about the offensive end, needs to focus a little bit more on the other aspects of his game and just let the offensive game come naturally. When you have to catch and gather and you think, should I shoot this, should I not shoot this, and you're jabbing for no apparent reason, it's in your head too much.
That's a young man right there, Kevin Knox. Yes, these are all freshmen, but he's about as young as anybody. Kevin Knox turning 18 this year from Tampa Catholic High School in Florida. This Kentucky team that started 5 freshmen today. Has started 5 freshmen all season long. The veterans on this team are the sophomores, plus the redshirt freshman Diallo, who was here for a semester last year practicing. Maton still has not scored for Georgia.
He doesn't even have a rebound. And this is a guy that is leading the SEC in both points and rebounds. Finally, he grabs his first board. Coming out of the non-conference, there is little to no doubt that Yante Maton is the Conference Player of the Year for the non-conference portion of the season. But he needs to carry that over and continue to try to find success within his team as well.
He was just named the SEC Player of the Week for his performances against Georgia Tech and Temple. That last basket scored by Rayshawn Hammonds, the freshman out of the ESPN 100.
For Georgia, a team that's struggling from the outside, you've got to sometimes take advantage. And although the tempo of the game, the faster it is, the better it probably suits Kentucky. You've got to be opportunistic and make sure you make the most out of the small window of opportunities to score when Kentucky's defense isn't set.
Georgia is one of the slowest teams in the SEC in terms of tempo. But the Bulldogs had the opportunity to run, and frankly haven't gotten much going in the half court so far.
And they change up to their zone defense after playing man-to-man a majority of the early portion of this game.
Knox misses a 3, missed followed by Green. Off to Gabriel, rejected. Denied by Yante Maton. Hammonds had the last bucket for Georgia, right into the hands of Knox. Knox trying to blow by Jordan Harris, and he was fouled on the body before the shot. Still searching for some offense on both sides as we ring in the new year. Georgia and Kentucky from Rupp. You'll forgive Bulldogs fans if their minds might be somewhere else on this New Year's Eve. College football playoff semis tomorrow, and Georgia gets Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl. Presented by Northwestern Mutual, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Then Clemson, Alabama 3 in the Sugar Bowl from New Orleans. Both games streaming on the ESPN app and on ESPN Deportes.
Well, and here's the game plan. According to me, if Georgia wants to find a victory, they got to get out, and that's a fast start. 3-0, 7-0 doesn't matter. You've got to make Oklahoma play from behind. Continue to dominate in the rushing game. Chunks of yards. Yard by yard, it's a cinch. All right, so 4 yards at a time. Squeeze Baker Mayfield into the pocket. They're not a great team as far as sacks go, only 2 per game with this outstanding defense led by their linebacking crew. But nevertheless, I would expect them to try to keep Mayfield's playmaking abilities confined to the pocket. He's not been feeling 100%. We'll see if that helps him in the Rose Bowl.
Who do you like in the game?
Georgia.
I do too.
I think it's going to be an all-SEC national championship.
Well, you have to say that.
No. I don't have to say anything, and I won't say it if I don't believe it. You got to believe, have some conviction in your life. You know what? Your New Year's resolution for 2018 should be to have some conviction and not be afraid.
Yours should be to use the telestrator.
Well, you're the one touching it, putting the dots on there.
It's trying to clear.
Hands off the telestration.
Georgia is already in the bonus. Mike Edwards will head to the line. Edwards, pretty good shooter for his size. 6'9", 225 from Westland, Michigan. Athletic player who has looked for consistency in his 3 years in Athens. His teams are combined 10 for 39 for the field right now. This is Georgia's first free throw of the game, and it rattles home.
Well, Mike Edwards, he has all the physical attributes, and at times he looks outstanding. And then other times it feels like the game and maybe the location of the game kind of bothers him a little bit. It doesn't bother number 1, though, I promise you that.
Starting to be more involved, Maiden. A couple of rebounds, a block, an assist. Still has not scored for Georgia.
And Mark Fox told us that's not necessarily a huge issue. He said for them to find success, they have to be balanced, which means you want, yes, Yante Maten to score the basketball, but you need others to elevate around him.
Always elevated and off the mark from Tyshawn Hightower. Georgia 0 for 7 now from 3. Trying to shoot over the Kentucky zone. Here's a takeaway in the speedy Hightower. On the move, Hammonds. A chance for a hard-earned 3 for Rayshawn Hammonds.
What a beautiful job out in transition. Again, get the steal and the turnover defensively. Numbers situation. Kevin Knox runs over late. A slight swipe of the arm. And a great finish by Hammonds. This young man has a ton of talent. I mean, it's like a quarterback. You know, and as a freshman quarterback, sometimes we say the game is too fast. I think that's where Rayshawn Hammonds is right now. The game just needs to slow down for him. And in moments like that, you see flashes of a player that could be huge for Georgia.
Another offensive rebound, meanwhile, off a free throw miss by Maten. So Georgia has missed its last 2 free throws and picked up the ball anyway. Here's that Kentucky zone, which the Wildcats have used more this year. Hightower tries another 3. Another offensive rebound. Hammonds too strong, and it's finally ripped away by Knox. Quade Green with 8 for Kentucky. He'll get to the line. Fouled by Hightower.
Pacing of this game, though, is really where Georgia wants it to be. And look, we're now almost 14 minutes in and only 12 points for Kentucky.
And outside of Quade Green, it has been just about one big nothing burger for the Wildcats. Again, Kentucky, since the opening minutes, has been without P.J. Washington and without Nick Richards, left and right of your screen, both with 2 fouls.
And cannot understate how much that impacts you as a coach and as a team out on the floor. It changes your rotation. It changes the positioning in which players are put in. And it also changes the level of aggressiveness.
And those 2 in particular were so active and aggressive on Friday in the win over Louisville. Washington 16 and 7. Richards had 6 rebounds and a couple of blocks as the Wildcats overwhelmed the Cardinals. Georgia trying to figure out this Kentucky zone. Maten They come up for the high post, and Krupp lazily throws it away. Green with a left. Oh, Quade Green offensively for Kentucky. He has 11 of the Cats' 15. How does Georgia solve this zone?
Well, they don't pass it to the team in the white jerseys. Instead, you want to try to get the ball in the middle of the paint and then utilize your ability to score for your Yante Maten from the high post and kick out. But that previous possession, I mean, it was just a very poor and telegraphed pass that allowed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get the steal and throw it ahead to Quade.
Maten's finally on the board. Second chance basket for Georgia, which has 8 of its 17 on second chance points. Knox way off the mark, and then a reach-in foul underneath.
Well, the first half for Kentucky, it's been about one guy and one guy only. It's been Green, Quade Green. Just without him on the floor, his energy level, his explosiveness, his ability to score the basketball and actually see it go through the hoop, Kentucky would be in a world of hurt right now.
Foul is against Ty Wynyard, which will send Maten to the line.
And this is an area of Yante Maten's game that is much improved from where it was a season ago. Plus 16% from the free throw line versus where he was last year.
65 of 76.
Well, and part of it, too, is his rhythm. You'll notice his rhythm. He takes his left leg back, and he actually steps in as if it's a free throw line jump shot. And that's something that he does so well during the course of the game, but it's something now he's transitioned and brought to his free throw attempt.
Become a more diverse shooter from the field this year and a smoother shooter at the line. 4 in a row for Maten. The reigning SEC Player of the Week, preseason co-player of the year in the conference, and a young man who's certainly putting together a case for an All-America type season. Hamidou Diallo. That one was altered on the way up. Claxton was there. Maten grabs it for Georgia. Here is the freshman Claxton back to Maten.
Good decision by Yante to turn down that top of the key jump shot that time.
Harris. Tough 2 out of bounds. Last touch by Claxton. What is the diagnosis here for Kentucky's offense to get somebody other than Green a bucket?
Play with some aggressiveness, play with some poise. Right now, everything's forced. Everything's going one-on-one.
Wildcats have 1 field goal outside of Green. Knox had a left arm in there. Offensive foul, his second.
You're just trying to, you're on an island. I just said, you're going one-on-one. This is a team sport. When you're on an island and you're trying to do it all and you're thinking too much, those kind of plays happen. That is a clear foul. And he goes and sits down now and struggling, to say the least, against Louisville. He brings those struggles right over here tonight against Georgia in the first half. And now you've got 3 players on the bench with 2 fouls.
Knox fouled out in just 17 minutes against Louisville on Friday. Really the one player who came out of that game not feeling as well individually. The big win for Kentucky. Diallo with some good on-ball defense.
And they're going to get a timeout, I think, for Georgia. That looked like it was a held ball to me. I thought that was going to be possession arrow going to Kentucky.
Even Mark Fox looked a little confused. Second timeout of the half taken by Georgia. It will be Bulldog ball.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Heineken. Open your world. Enjoy responsibly.
Alfa Romeo halftime report right around the corner. Seth Greenberg, Chris Cotter back in Bristol. We're going to show you Seth's New Year's resolutions. We'll also take a quick look back to a great year in 2017. What do you make of this game so far? Georgia always plays Kentucky tough.
You know, right now Kentucky has a hangover. Wait a second. It's not even New Year's Day yet. You know what it's called? It's called Louisville. And now you know why they have a hangover? They're getting beat to 50-50 balls. They can't rebound the ball in the defensive end. And their shot selection's been horrific. Besides that, life is good in Lexington.
Huh? Kevin, Sean, Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah, Coach, so positive back in the studio.
Other than that, everything's okay.
Jeez, come on, Coach. We can be positive. I mean, yes, okay, one team shooting 0% from 3, the other one shooting 22% from the field. And we've talked more about missed shots than we have made shots during the first half. But outside of that, hey, it's New Year's Eve, it's Lexington, it's a sold-out crowd here in Rupp Arena. Life is good.
Maybe we'll get some early resolutions in the next 24 minutes, 20 seconds or so. Yante Baton has just one made field goal, and yet Georgia leads this thing by 4. Final day of 2017. Jawad Parker didn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Georgia continues to be 0 for the outside. That's 10 3-pointers taken, and none have dropped.
And this crowd is kind of buzzing right now just in anticipation of wanting to see this team be aggressive.
There's Gilgeous-Alexander on the drive. That's what Kentucky needs.
Well, and Hamidou Diallo and Gilgeous-Alexander, these are two guys that I think are at their best when they're driving and attacking. And Gilgeous obviously had the huge game against Louisville, but it was set by the tone and demeanor of Diallo when he drove baseline on the opening possession and just rattled the rim. We haven't seen that explosiveness off the perimeter. I think the speed and athleticism is on the side of Kentucky if they space out, share the ball, force the defense to shift side to side just for one possession. Get one ball reversal, you're going to find something good.
Edwards is looking Maton's way, well defended by Gabriel. Kentucky doing a nice job in the angles in the post. Crump hits a deep one, that's a 2. A lot of minutes for Tyree Crump, who again did not play 9 days ago in the 18-point win over Temple. He has his first 2. Gilgeous-Alexander again, eschewing the screen from Wynyard. Quade Green off the mark from deep, and the rebound secured by Maton.
That's his 7th board already for Yante Maton.
Maton the trailer. Georgia is still over the outside, and this is a tie-up. Possession arrow going the way of Kentucky. Wildcats are basically playing a 6-man rotation right now with Knox, Richards, and Washington glued to the bench with 2. And Kalia Jones replaces Wynyard. It is not a deep Kentucky team right now. A couple of injuries have hurt them. Jarrett Vanderbilt, a left foot injury, making progress, was getting up shots today at the shoot-around. Timetable still unclear. And Jamal Baker, who they hope would be their big 3-point shooter, still recovering from left knee surgery. He's fouled against Jordan Harris, his 2nd. And Kentucky is in the bonus. Hamidou Diallo to the free throw line.
Yeah, struggled in off the free throw line the other day. So what do great players do? And this is a great lesson for anybody that wants to play at the Division I level. You get in the gym and you work. He was the first guy at the shoot-around today. And then after the shoot-around was over, he stood at the free throw line and kept working and working and making free throws and seeing the ball and getting the touch off of his fingertips, wearing the same shoes that he's wearing right now. And part of it is just repetition and feel.
Feeds into that New Year's resolution. Improve every day. 64% at the line for Diallo, who scored 14 or more in 6 games in a row. Now Mark Fox is chatting with the officials.
Well, I'll tell you this too, and Hamidou Diallo, when I spoke with him at shoot-around today, what he said was, he said, listen, I got to bring that Kobe mentality. And what does the Kobe mentality mean for Hamidou? It just means that he's got to get better every single day. He said, at the start of the season, I thought things were going to come pretty easy for me. And I've had to work and get better and better. And we've seen that in the last 4 games, averaging almost 19 points per contest.
Whose mentality do you like to bring to a game?
Yours, Kevin.
You bring the Brown mentality.
Yeah. After the PK80 experience with you,
question.
I just felt like this is the zone that I want to be in.
Better zone, that or John Calipari's 2-3?
The 2-3. Your zone is kind of shaky at times, Kevin. I'm just being honest. Your first game here in Rupp. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
It's always fun. That's the best thing about our job. We get to go to all these great locations across the country, and there's very few that can compare.
One of the crown jewels of college basketball, 23,000 strong in here. Maton with a putback, and Georgia, which has not won in this building since 2009, has a lead of 3.
Complete breakdown by Kentucky. How do you not put a body on Yante Maton when a shot goes up? You have to find him and initiate the contact.
And an intercept. Green's pass thrown away. Juwan Parker lays it up and in. The redshirt senior gives Georgia a lead of 5. Parker, the 5th-year senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, feeling good, playing athletic basketball again after some Achilles issues the last couple of years. We are under 2 in this first half. Diallo, not a deep three-point shooter necessarily. Green will take it off the low catch. Hammonds took it away from Gabriel and kept the pivot foot down.
And Mark Fox immediately tells him, slow down. Make sure you get a good look on this possession.
Georgia with some nice non-conference wins. Got St. Mary's of the Wooden Legacy at Marquette, home against Temple. Nothing would compare to this. Parker with a shot fake. Mayton from that baseline, the edge of that triangle you were talking about off the top.
Well, all of a sudden, we mentioned, remember we talked about this like 5 minutes ago? Oh, Yante Mayton doesn't have a rebound. Yante Mayton hasn't scored. Well, now he has. And he's got 8 rebounds to go along with 8 points.
Off the missed 3 from Diallo, we are sub 60 in this first half. Kentucky has shot it at just 22%. 1 for 8 from deep. Mayton again. Rolled around in the rebound for Diallo. Green into a sea of black and red, and he does draw the foul. Yante Mayton was in there.
Well, Yante Mayton, Conference Player of the Year preseason prediction. Nobody puts a body on him. How do you not find number 1? That's just a breakdown of assignment, and then the ability to stretch and be comfortable. We mentioned that triangle, the baseline, one of his favorite areas to shoot the ball.
And the foul is the first assessed to Mayton, sending Green to the line where he is excellent on the season. Quade Green now 18 for 22 from the stripe. Ty Wynyard will check in for Diallo, who has a foul. Don't want to pick up another player with 2 fouls to end this half. It's been the Q Boogie show for Kentucky in the first half. He has more than a half the Wildcats' points. Georgia cannot hold for 1, but it can try to bleed some clock. Though Gilgeous-Alexander is a terrific on-ball defender.
Really good defense.
Oh my! Kalia Jones with the denial underneath to Parker. Gilgeous-Alexander on the step in, no. Loose ball. Gilgeous-Alexander is fouled. All started by
Mark Fox. I think Mark Fox just got teed up.
He did. He is red hot.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Mark Fox did not want that technical foul. Not in this moment, not with his team with the lead. But what he's upset about is the contact at the other end of the floor as Juwan Parker drove in, and then opposite end of the floor, Yante Mayton goes up. He thought he was in the cylinder with his hands straight up when they called the foul and the whistle on him.
And that's going to be 2 quick ones in the final minute of the half against Mayton. Gilgeous-Alexander, an 85% free throw shooter, will head to the line for the technical. And he hits both. So now Gilgeous-Alexander will shoot the 2 free throws on the common foul against Mayton. First half that, though not aesthetically pleasing, was a bright one for Georgia, has the potential to end in a nightmarish finish. More New Year's resolution for you as the officials sort something out at the monitor. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, New Year's resolution, don't eat candy. Again, our officials, Tony Green, Tony Henderson, and Ron Gruber. So the technical against Mark Fox, it says. Gilgeous-Alexander hit those 2 free throws. And it will be Gilgeous-Alexander taking these free throws. Now the officials signaled 22, which means they may have been looking at who should take these free throws. And it was Gilgeous-Alexander fouled by Maton.
Well, Kevin, what a hectic finish to this first half. In a game that it looked like Georgia was building momentum and controlling going to the break. Now all of a sudden an opportunity at the free throw line to make this potentially a one-point game.
Another team's going to feel superb going into the half, but Kentucky's going to feel a whole lot better if they can cut this to one, keep it there. 4 in a row for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Six in a row for Kentucky from the foul line. Georgia will keep Maton in with the 2 fouls. Make sure you don't pick up one offensively here if you're Yante Maton. As the Bulldogs look to hold for one. Turtle Jackson back in the game with 2 fouls. It's Crump from the corner, short on a 3, and that's it for the first half. A 1-point lead for Georgia. Kentucky, the final 6 points of the half, all from the foul line.
Carlson.
A defensive struggle, and Georgia has the lead. Yante Maton, 8 points, 8 rebounds, but a pivotal second foul picked up to end the half. Bulldogs lead by 1 here in Rupp-Arena on this New Year's Eve. Off to the studio we go for your halftime report.
Thank you, Kev Farney, Alfa Romeo halftime, Chris Cotter, and Seth Greenberg here in studio. Our old friend Chris Mullen and St. John's taking on Seton Hall. This is a good one, Coach. Miles Powell going to hit the 3-pointer here for Seton Hall, and it's an undermanned St. John's team hanging in there, though.
St. John playing without their backcourt. I really like this Seton Hall team. Angel Delgado rebounds the basketball, and Kadeem Carrington moved from the 2-guard to the point guard, playing at a high level.
Look at Delgado there with the ball fake and another ball
He's
fake.
an absolute beast and a terrific passer at a double team.
4-point lead, though, right now for Seton Hall at home. You mentioned Pons is out and Lovett is out for St. John's.
Rivalry game, man. St. John's, Seton Hall.
Yeah, the old school Big East.
Forget about, who's playing well, who can't play. Got to win that game.
All right, let me talk about this rivalry here, Georgia and Kentucky, because Georgia usually does play Kentucky well, and they're doing it again today. But why? Why, when Kentucky coming off the big win against Louisville, you think they got all the momentum coming into conference play?
You just answered the question.
Oh, I did. Okay, then we can move on.
Yes, they came off the big win against Louisville.
Yep.
All right, and they have a hangover. And when you have to turn around and play 48 hours later with a young basketball team, you know what happens? You're not mentally, physically, and emotionally ready to play. So shot selection suffers. You don't make good decisions with the basketball. And you don't block out. And if you don't block out against this Georgia team, that's maybe their best offense. Georgia, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. This Kentucky team is like 230 in defensive rebounding percentage. So John Calipari's got to get their attention at halftime. They've got to move the ball, move people a little bit better. Shot selection's got to improve. Effort's got to improve, and attention to detail's got to improve.
Yeah, Green has 13 of their 26 points right now. Kentucky trailing by 1 to Georgia at the half. When we come back, Coach's New Year's resolutions heading into 2018. We'll talk about those next.
You're watching the Alfa Romeo Halftime Report.
Cincinnati hosting Memphis. Coach Gary Clark
is a grown man.
Look at that.
Remember the old grown man team? Rebounds, defends.
Scores, too. That's something with the Cincinnati team. The Cincinnati team can score. Trevor Moore with a 3. Jerron Cumberland can hit 3s.
Second weekend team, they continue to get good point guard play.
There's Cumberland right there, just sizing it up, saying, if you're going to keep me open out here.
Evans, Cumberland, Clark, tough to deal with.
Nasir Brooks down low, seals the defender. Nice little one-handed
little high-low action right there.
All Cincinnati. Providence and Creighton. Talk about a guy who can score. How about Marcus Foster?
How about this Creighton team? This for all 5 starters in double figures. Shoot 43% of their shots from the three-point line, make 40 of them. Marcus Foster in transition and finish.
He can finish, and then look at him size up here.
This is deep range right here.
The defender just says,
he went old Trae Young.
Oof. That's high praise right there. Trae Young maybe goes Marcus Foster all on you sometimes. All right, New Year's Eve. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Be safe when you're out tonight. What we wanted to do is do a couple of things revolving around the holiday. First of all, before we get to 2018, I want to look back at 2017. It was a special year in college basketball. What's your favorite moment of the whole year?
To me, it's Gonzaga getting to the Final Four and the championship game. And you think about the journey and the success that Mark Few's had at Gonzaga, it's absolutely incredible. He's been to Elite Eights. He's been to Sweet 16s. He's been the #1 seed. But this was a special group. You had Shemma Karnowski up front, our favorite guy.
Yep, man masquerading as a mountain.
Mountain masquerading as a man. They had terrific guard play in Nigel Williams-Goss. This team was really connected. And to see Mark Few get to that point really was satisfying to me.
Now let's spin it forward to 2018, which is where we will be in just a few hours here on the East Coast. Tell me the player of the year, the Wooden Award winner.
In this moment in time.
Will you please just make a prediction for me?
In this moment in time, it's got to be Trae Young. 29 points, almost 11 assists, shoots over 40 from the three. But it's how he's done it. You know, to me, he's made everyone on the court better. It's the energy and the passion and the enthusiasm that he plays with. And let's face it, he shoots from the logo. He gets in the lane. He draws a second defender. He's a willing passer. And the energy that he's brought to that program, it's been incredible.
He just had 39 and 15 assists in the win against...
On the road.
Yeah, previously unbeaten TCU. He gets it done wherever he goes. All right, finally, give me your New Year's resolutions about the world of college basketball.
I would like to see the Hall of Fame honor the historians, the people that have made this game what it is. And I'd start with Lefty Driesell. Lefty Driesell belongs in the Hall. Think about this, 2 Elite Eights at Davidson. Think about Midnight Madness. Think about the great game in '74 against NC State, even though they lost that game. Rolly Massimino, national championship at Villanova, and the culture he created at Villanova lives today through Jay Wright. Gene Keady, he was 5-time National Coach of the Year. That's incredible. Terrific coach, great ambassador to the game, high character. Jim Fallon, 49 seasons at Mount St. Mary's, 830 wins, a Division II national championship, and then my guy Fletcher Arrett, Fork Union Military Academy. Over 400 of his players went on to play college basketball, 200 Division I. They're going to name the floor after him at Fork Union. He graduated from there. He went to University of Virginia, went back, has never left.
Good stuff, Coach. We shall keep an eye on that. I wore the bow tie for you, Coach Phelan, because you wore one every single time out there on the court at Mount St. Mary's. Sports Center comes your way tonight. Obviously, it's extremely important. We're talking about the NFL playoff picture, regular season wrapping up today. Who gets in, who doesn't. Boomer's back with SVP, and Herbie and Tim Tebow talk about the college football semifinals involving Georgia's football team, one of 4 teams playing tomorrow on New Year's Day. You can see all those games, by the way, on the ESPN app. If you don't have it, it only takes a moment to download it to your mobile device, and everything is right there in the palm of your hands.
This halftime report is presented by Alfa Romeo. This halftime report is presented by Alfa Romeo.
St. John's at Seton Hall, final moments. Desi Rodriguez, coach, he had 23 and 9 on the day.
Desi Rodriguez, he's the Mariano Rivera of Seton Hall, made the game winner against Louisville, and he finished off St. John's and sent him back to Jamaica.
5-point win for Seton Hall. Michigan State was only up 6 late in the first half. You think Coach Izzo gave his team a little tongue lashing at the half?
They had a little heart-to-heart, and they responded. The front court of Michigan State's absolutely incredible. Ward, Bridges, Gavin Schilling, really tough to beat.
All Spartans in the second half. We were poised to have a good second half here. Quade Green with half of Kentucky's points at the half. They're only down 1, though, to Georgia. Second half on the way. This has been the Alfa Romeo halftime report.
Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. First half of the books, Georgia 27, 16th ranked, Kentucky 26. From Rupp Arena, Kevin Brown, Sean Farnham wishing you once again a happy New Year's Eve and early happy 2018. It was the first half that was dominated by defense. Partner, Kentucky had...
Stop. It was dominated by
terrible
bad
offensive
shooting.
basketball.
Yes, let's just call it what it is. It was bad
My New
shooting
Year's
in the first half.
resolution is to be more honest.
But there was a turning point in this game, a 7-point lead. As you look at Kentucky's offense first, the difference between the points over 40 minutes versus what we saw in the first half, 21% shooting. 50% of their 26 points, by the way, came at the free throw line where they had a plus 10 advantage in free throws attempted. The turning point, this is what I was talking about. The drive in, the great block. You see Mark Fox in the back of the screen raise his hands up and say, I want a foul. He didn't get one, but he got one at the other end on Yante Maten. And he didn't like that call, and he ended up getting a technical foul. And then the free throws ensued down the stretch to make it a 1-point game at the break. I think the big key, Yante Maten, obviously 8 points, 8 rebounds in the first half. 3 of 10 shooting. His percentage has got to be better. Georgia was 0 for 11 from beyond the arc. They shot 50% from the field inside the arc. So turn down some of those 3-point looks work inside, play to the strengths of your team, and that's utilizing your strength underneath and try to get to the free throw line in the second half.
Well, the big story for Kentucky was the foul trouble combined. Nick Richards, Kevin Knox, and P.J. Washington combined for just 2 points and 6 fouls. All three had 2. Richards does not start this half on the floor. Gabriel is in, and Maton hits a 3. Georgia's first from beyond the arc.
Well, and Coach Cal looking immediately at Kevin Knox as he came down, letting the freshman know that that is just a failure to have carryover from the scouting report. Good job by Yante Maton to find that shot and find that rhythm.
And here's P.J. Washington on the floor once again for Kentucky. Gabriel will take a 3. That's no good. Offensive rebound, Hamidou Diallo, who was poked in the eye. And that will stop play. Quade Green a few games ago got hit the eye against Monmouth, and now it's Diallo who gets knocked up top.
He got poked in the eye really bad in that game against Monmouth and ended up having to wear the shades for a couple of games. One doesn't look that bad.
That was not a foul. Or you Sean Hammonds with a hit. Clean play, just an injury stoppage.
It's not a clean play if you get hit in the eye.
Well, it's a clean non-foul.
Well, it's a missed call is what it is.
That's also a clean play foul-wise. This discussion could carry over into 2018, so let's tell you that Quade Green is fouled on the way in. 2 fouls, by the way, against Maton. Second one at the end of that first half. And Turtle Jackson has 2 for Georgia as well. So a little bit of foul trouble for both teams as we start the second half.
You mentioned Richards, Knox, and Washington. 6 fouls, only 2 points between the two of them in a combined 16 minutes of playing time.
Quade Green dominated the first half for Kentucky offensively. The miss there rebounded by Parker. Georgia with Juwan Parker on the floor instead of Will Ridge to begin this second half. Jackson a 3, and the Bulldogs, after an 0 for 11 first half from deep, are 2 for 2.
You go under the screen, you give the shooter space.
That's what happened on that long 2 early in the first half by Jackson. He was ruled to have his foot on the line. Wildcats went under the screen, he made him pay.
The game is difficult right now for Kentucky.
Knox from way out. Maybe that will get him going.
Is there any flow when you watch them offensively right now? Are you seeing them really move the ball and find something comfortable? He hit an NBA three-point shot. That's great. He can do that.
Well, only 4 assists right now for Kentucky on 7 made baskets. Well, Hammonds with a drive for Georgia.
And then Kevin Knox comes back down, lunges and reaches, tries to go for a steal, and leaves Hammonds wide open and allows him to finish.
What did we talk about earlier? What did John Calipari say to Knox and shoot around today? Focus on your defense.
The defense and rebounding, you're going to be fine offensively. Don't worry about it. But that's not the case right now.
Green. 8 to shoot for Kentucky. Washington gets into the lane, and he can really operate from there. The freshman out of Dallas, Texas, grew up in Louisville, a well-traveled young man who's come here to Kentucky as the Cats within 4. Hammonds, a freshman, against the freshman Knox. Ogbede in the lane. Get it to go, and the foul for Georgia.
I think Yante Maton got hit in the face. And he is hunched over right now in the middle of the paint. But a great pass by Hammonds to Ogbede. And Ogbede with the toughness underneath to absorb the contact and finish. He had a good first half. Limited opportunities, 4 points on 2 of 2 shooting. That time clearing out with his offhand, and that was friendly fire. It was Ogbede that hit Maton.
But they still a little shaken up. Foul was the 3rd against P.J. Washington, who just scored. You think he's going to get going offensively, and he is out of the game. Nick Richards back in. A fight for the rebound. Georgia is in on every missed free throw. They either seem to get the ball or at least knock it away, and this will be Kentucky basketball. Gilgeous-Alexander into the game along with Richards for Kentucky. Wildcats coming off a 29-point drubbing of Louisville on Friday. Third highest margin of victory in that series history. The question coming into the game was, how will this young team respond? They responded to adversity well after the loss to UCLA. How do they respond to prosperity?
Well, and they haven't responded very well because this has not been a very clean game at all for Kentucky. And all Coach Cal kept reiterating to his team is play more, think less. They're thinking more and they're playing less so far.
Mark Fox will keep Turtle Jackson in the game right now. 0 in black and red with 3 fouls. Knox with another 3. Long rebound, and here comes Parker with a Georgia runout. Deemed to be a clean dribble.
A missed opportunity. He had Hammonds, and I think that's what he was trying to go for.
Maton, guarded by Diallo. Maton getting bumped. Rebound, Quade. What a game for this young man. 4 for 4 down low. He has played up the last couple of years when the Dogs have played Kentucky. Derek Ogbede, career high 18 last season when the teams met in Athens. Gabriel going to work on Jackson with those 3 fouls. Jackson knocks it away.
Well, Georgia came out of the gate and they hit a couple of threes, and then it's been Derek Ogbede underneath, putting himself in position. This one working hard on the offensive glass. 8-point lead for the Dogs.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere.
Well, folks, we hope your New Year's Eve is half as enjoyable as this young fellas. Georgia with the lead over Kentucky by 8, but who cares when you're here at Rupp, you're having a good time. And
I liked his lateral quickness. I think he'd be really good defensively right now for Kentucky. His ability to move side to side and then to get some food as well. I mean, that young man's having himself a fun time tonight.
That's a double threat right there.
Well, he double dipped.
Lateral quickness.
And then he double dipped because obviously there was a bite already out of that nugget.
And you know what? His own box of nuggets,
that's allowed.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
It's not a party foul, but it could be a party foul for you if you're at a New Year's Eve party and you go to double dip tonight.
That's right. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Wenyon Gabriel, a 3-pointer for Kentucky. Good range for Gabriel, who has maybe been the most active Cat today. Green offensively with 13, but Gabriel 9 rebounds. And he's finally got a shot off the bench. He did have a basket in the first half that was changed on that early tip-in. Hamidou Diallo at the half. The basket was reviewed and awarded to him. Maton has it knocked away by Gabriel, and here is Diallo. Here comes Kentucky. Gabriel, wave it off. Offensive foul. That turns Rupp Arena into Big Boo Nation.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's the most difficult call to make. But that was not a charge. I mean, there is no possible way that you can show me that and you're going to convince me by the letter of the law in the book that that is a charge. That is a poor call. And I have no idea what they're going to look at. What they're going to go look at, and Tony Green's over there with them, what they're going to see is, first and foremost, that it should have never been called that way. Now, you can't reverse it, obviously. But there is no foul as far as an offensive foul there. That is a foul on Juwan Parker. Wenyon Gabriel should be at the free throw line. It's a mistake.
I'm told the review is for any excessive elbow contact.
There was not.
And this should be a 39-36 game with one more for Gabriel. Again, the SEC has this new structure this year with replays, a more collaborative structure. Terry Moore, the coordinator of men's basketball replay, is on the other end in Birmingham. And the folks here are getting some assistance from the league office.
That was assessed to Gabriel. That is his second and the team's second.
We'll get a quick explanation over here.
And just as we had already been aware of, they were looking to see if there was any contact to the head. There was not, nor was there a charge. But we can talk about that later.
So the lead remains at 5 for Georgia. High energy from Gabriel for Kentucky. Now defensively on Jackson. Ogbede guarded well by Kalia Jones. This is Parker leading in, draws the contact by Diallo, and he has a chance for 3.
Juwan Parker has been in college so long that when he first played in the SEC, Kevin Knox, who's the youngest player on the Kentucky team, was 12 years old. And he played a little old man game on that one. He got into space, elevated up, played with the savvy to draw the contact and then touch off the glass. Juwan Parker graduated with his bachelor's degree, graduated now with his master's degree, is working on his second master's degree, and has recently been engaged.
So if he has a New Year's resolution, we should all have about 6.
I think I got to go back to school.
Working on his second master's right now in financial family planning, wants to be in athletic administration. We may all be working for Juwan Parker someday. This ties the largest lead right now for Georgia. Knox continues to be cold from the field. Jackson left alone. And an offensive rebound for who else? Maton trying to go up and under. Knox was in the way. Kalia Jones as well. And the Kentucky lane draws the off 2. Washington playing with 3 fouls. Got his own miss. And P.J. Washington is hit. Now tonight after our game, a special edition of SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Scott will assess the NFL playoff picture, 3 wild card spots and a division crown up for grabs. Plus, Chris Berman joins the show. Boomer is back with his take on the NFL postseason. Kirk Herbstreit, Tim Tebow also drop by to preview tomorrow's college football playoff semifinals. SportsCenter earlier at night on ESPN right after this game. That foul to 4th on Turtle Jackson for Georgia. And he will have to leave the game, the Bulldogs point guard.
You talk about New Year's resolutions. P.J. Washington, make free throws. It's a good one to have. This is a very talented freshman. And former McDonald's All-American, he gets you on your hip. And defensively, if you're caught on his hip, he's going to score. He's just so strong. I don't know if he wants to make all of his free throws like that, but I don't think he's really going to. Beggars can't be choosers, right?
Happy New Year. Young man who lost around 15 pounds in a 2.5-week span before the Monmouth game. During the season has worked his body into good shape. There's a travel against Parker.
You know what? That's actually a good travel for Georgia. You want to know why? Because that ball would have been stolen had the whistle not blown, and it would have been a dunk. And instead it'll allow you to get back and get set in your defense. But that's at least twice in this game that Georgia has failed to recognize the pressure and has not brought players up to help alleviate that pressure off their guards.
Well, now you don't have the point guard Jackson, probably for a long time with the 4 fouls. Parker is out of the game. Jordan Harris is checked in for Georgia.
Disadvantage Washington here.
Over Mike Edwards. Certainly is.
Mike Edwards cannot defend P.J. Washington.
Tyreek Crump. Well defended by Quade Green. Diallo on the intercept. Diallo has Green to his right. He'll take it all the way and shoot 2. Barreling into the cheerleaders on his way.
Well, as soon as the catch came, you knew this wasn't going to be very good for Mike Edwards. P.J. Washington just so strong underneath, in particular with his back to the basket. And Mike Edwards tends to play straight up and straight down, which means he's out of an elevated in an elevated position, not in his stance, not able to maintain the positioning that he has on the floor.
Amadou Diallo at the free throw line right now. This is a young man who comes out of Queens, New York, played at Putnam Science Academy in Connecticut last year, and because he came here a semester early, redshirted, went through the draft process, second highest vertical in the history of the NBA Combine. Great dunker, and we saw that to open the game on Friday against Louisville. Puts in 2 free throws here, and Kentucky has a little bit of a surge going. Rupp Arena coming alive on this final day of 2017. SEC opener for both teams.
Right now, the only person that you feel like it's calm when the ball hits his hands offensively is Yante Maten. Everybody else is kind of playing panic.
Hightower's got to get it up. Shot clock violation.
And Hamidou Diallo had something to say to Yante Maten, and now the officials are having to talk to Hamidou Diallo.
Now Maten is talking with Sasha Kalia-Jones. We knew this would be physical. We knew it would be tight when these two teams play. A couple of games last year in the regular season that went down to the wire. Kentucky snatched away an overtime win at home and then picked up a late win in Athens with some De'Aaron Fox heroics. The Wildcats comfortably got Georgia in the SEC tournament. I'm not sure what we're reviewing right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander knocked away by Harris. Green, Quade on the spot for Kentucky. Green over Edwards. No. Here's Maten. And Yante Maten just ran into
That's
Diallo.
going to be on Diallo, though.
It is on Diallo, his
There's
third.
no question.
Didn't have the position.
No. And that is also carryover from the two of them talking on the previous possession, though. And you let your emotions get the better of you, you put yourself in an unfavorable position. As he dribbles the ball up the floor, watch as he moves. He tries to step right in between them. He had no position whatsoever.
So Diallo and Washington both have 3 for Kentucky. And Washington stays on the floor, but Diallo exits.
And you got to get the ball in Yante Maten's hands, and you got to allow him to make a play. This is an unsettled lineup on the floor right now for the Georgia Bulldogs.
That's a bailout foul for Georgia. Bulldogs just caught a break there as Green is whistled for the foul against Harris.
Oh, it's chippy. It's the start of conference play. I love this.
Last time the Georgia Bulldogs won in this building, the coaching matchup was Pete Herman versus Billy Gillispie. March 4th, 2009. Double-double for Trey Tompkins for the Dogs. Jody Meeks had a game-high 23 for Kentucky. But it was the Terrence Woodbury show, Sean Farnham. 30 points. Georgia wins it 90-85.
Well, and you look at this game right now, a couple of things that kind of jump out to me. Obviously, the hot start for Georgia here in the second half. When they value the basketball and they don't turn the basketball over, they are 6 of 9 shooting so far here in the second half. That's 67%. You see Mark Fox never got a victory here. They need to value the basketball better if they want to get one. Now, if you're Kentucky, you're looking right now and you're thinking, you know, we had 42 points in the paint. 42 versus Louisville. They have 12 so far in this game. And we're almost 30 minutes in.
How do you figure that? Is that mostly what Georgia's done defensively or mostly Kentucky's lack of moving the ball around, getting good looks?
Well, Georgia, in their zone defense in particular, has forced them to play out over the top.
Yante Maten, 13 and 10 rebounds, another double-double for him. And after a slow start, Maton has imprinted his stamp on this game. Gilgeous-Alexander taking it into Quade. Nice strong drive for the freshman out of Hamilton, Ontario.
Again, the defense on the back line steps up. Kevin Knox vacates his spot, has to help on the dribble penetration. And then Sasha Gilgeous-Jones, a little bit slow and rotating over, allows that space in that lane for Yante Maton to finish.
Gilgeous-Alexander back at the line where he is 6 for 6. Kentucky has 17 points at the line today, just 23 from the field. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 52% from the field, 85% from the line. Team leader in assists and steals, and he just got another one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Deflected, blocked by Washington. Kentucky has led this game for just 99 seconds. Gilgeous-Alexander is fouled.
Coach Cal told us he's the only guy that smiles at practice. He's the only one that's really having fun and just playing free. And he's done it a couple of times tonight defensively, and you see the emotion after the finish, the dunk. And then the passion that's necessary in a game like this. You got to remember, all these kids, this is their first time playing in a conference game. It's different. Conference play is different.
Kevin Knox. Quade with a strong rebound for Georgia. Knox just 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from deep. Inside, Maton going to work. And Yante Maton fouled. Sasha Gilgeous-Jones picks up his first. When in doubt, when times get rough, when the situation's unsettled, you give it to number 1 if you're Georgia. Maton 2 of 2 at the line today, about 87% on the year. A couple of days away from the first Super Tuesday of the college basketball season on ESPN, January 2, 2018. 22nd ranked Texas Tech, number 11 Kansas, looking to start the climb to get another Big 12 championship in Allen Fieldhouse. That game Tuesday, 9 Eastern on ESPN, streaming live on the ESPN app. See Maton bring that left foot back in. 4 for 4 at the line.
Makes it a 3-point game. And if you're Georgia right now, every single possession, I want Yante Maton having an opportunity to score the basketball. Play through him. He's unselfish. He'll pass the ball back out.
What about if you're Kentucky? Gilgeous-Alexander on the drive, and he's fouled again.
Space the floor and attack. Get to the free throw line. It's where you're getting all your points tonight. You know, it has not been the best shooting outing for really anyone out on the floor for Kentucky. So if you stop the clock, you get to the free throw line, you get them in foul trouble, it starts to limit their level of aggressiveness.
And that's the team for Kentucky. I mean, this is not a three-point shooting team today, but it's not a three-point shooting team this season. They have attempted the fewest threes of John Calipari's 9 Kentucky teams.
Well, I think be who you are. What are you good at? Do you want to continue to work on things that you're not good at? Yes, you want to improve at practice. You want to find yourself in a rhythm. Will there be games where this team makes 8, 7 3-pointers? Sure. But when you look at the difference from where it was a season ago to where it is now, it's distinctly different.
This was going into today's game. Kentucky 3 of 13 today, so that percentage has gone down. Wildcats have not shot well, but they trail by only 1. 6 in a row for Gilgeous-Alexander. Turtle Jackson is back into the game now, midway through this half. 4 fouls for Georgia, 0 in red and black. Jackson, well defended by Diallo. And there's a travel against Harris. 13th turnover for Mark Fox's club.
And that's, again, a possession where Yante Maten didn't touch the ball. And 6 turnovers here in the second half are far too many. There are some that are created. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander creates one, finishes with a dunk. Then there's those that are unforced. And that was an unforced error that time.
Kentucky can take its first lead of this second half. Gilgeous-Alexander has been the man. He misses strong, and Harris has the Georgia rebound.
See, I would have brought that ball back if I'm Turtle Jackson to Yante Maten.
Maten into the teeth of the Kentucky defense. He's the last to touch it.
Now Maten comes and sets the on-ball screen. Everything else, the defense is loaded up on the other side of the floor as 3 other guys on your team are standing over there. As you bring that ball back, swing it back and let Yante Maten attack one-on-one. I like that advantage for Kentucky.
Washington, a good pass here. Just give it to Gabriel. Kevin Knox still trying to get going. Gabriel fighting for the loose ball with Jackson. Gabriel steals it away. Gabriel! Knox with the effort that John Calipari wants to see. And Knox is fouled. Hammonds on the reach around. Kevin Knox will go to the line with a chance to give Kentucky the lead. Third foul, Rayshawn Hammonds.
Wenyen Gabriel probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves for his role on this team, and in particular the energy in which he plays with. It's infectious. You know, basketball is not a sport where you've got to have 6 guys, you know, that are all screaming on the bench. That, you know, that's good, but you need one guy certainly out of the floor that can be the catalyst of energy. And it's Wenyen Gabriel, number 32 in white.
Different guy than last year, John Calipari has said. 10 rebounds tonight, and that one led to free throws, but Knox missed the front end of the 1-and-1. But the potential free throws only ended up being a single. Maten, nice distributor. Harris misses a 3. Another chance for Kentucky to take the lead. Opener of SEC play for both teams. And the young Wildcats are down in front. Hamidou Diallo off the feed from Knox. It will be Georgia basketball when we return. First lead since the 10:25 mark of the first half for Kentucky. Happy New Year to everybody out there watching. Happy New Year to this young lady. First Cats game. And a message for Coach Cal, who is at least a tiny bit happier right now, though nowhere near satisfied. His Kentucky team in the lead for the first time since midway through the first half. Most of the scoring has come for the point guards. Quade Green with all 13 of the first half. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is really taken over here in the second half, partner. 9 for 9 for Gilgeous-Alexander from the foul line.
Well, and 20 of 24 as a team for Kentucky. Compare that to just 6 of 9 from the free throw line for Georgia.
Georgia shooting just 2 for 17 from 3 in the game. Kentucky 3 of 14 from deep. And that's been the Wildcats' biggest advantage, getting to the line and finishing there. 13-4 Kentucky run over the last 6 minutes and change. Shooting 26% but leading here in the SEC opener for both teams. Maten off the tough feed from Jackson. Hammonds takes it in on Kalia Jones, and he was fouled on the hip. Kalia Jones picks up his second foul.
The funny thing was Hamidou Diallo was running back looking at the official going, I didn't foul him. And the official's like, yeah, no, I didn't call it on you. Rayshawn Hammonds, 37th ranked prospect according to ESPN 100 last year. The highest ranked commit for the Bulldogs since KCP, Caldwell Pope, back in 2011. Had a great open to a season with 17 points, 7 rebounds. He's got to just continue to become more and more aggressive as a player.
He's the first freshman to start the opener for Georgia since Caldwell Pope, now plying his trade with the Los Angeles Lakers. Could be a good finish here in the SEC opener for Georgia and Kentucky. Teams that played 2 regular season games down to the wire last year. Kentucky won them both in the 3rd in the SEC tournament. This is the only meeting scheduled between the two this year. Turtle Jackson. Nice find to Maton inside and a blocking foul against Kalia Jones. His 3rd.
It was slid over just a little bit too late. The secondary defensive player, as you watch him slide over. Now, I will tell you this. First of all, inside the halo, the restricted area underneath. So that's his feet are over the line, so it doesn't matter. All right. Now, the other thing I would say is, again, that was better position in the charge we saw in the first half go against Juwan Parker. Excuse me, in the second half.
Right, started the second half on the drive by Gabriel. Maton misses his first free throw of the night. Kalia Jones will take a seat with 3 fouls. Washington and Knox, along with Gabriel, the bigs right now for Kentucky. The 2 point guards, Green and Gilgeous-Alexander. Georgia has lost 9 in a row to Kentucky, which leads this all-time series 124-26. None of that matters right now. Gabriel out of control. He knew it.
Well, and that was caused by the defense of Yante Maton. And this is where you would expect the Conference Player of the Year preseason pick to assert himself and be the dominating player down the stretch of this game if Georgia's going to find a way to win.
And you think very early on he's lived up to that non-conference player of the year essentially in the SEC?
You lead the conference in scoring and rebounding. There's a lot of things you're doing right for your basketball team.
Maton kept the pivot foot. Still some time to operate for Georgia. Maton inside from Jackson.
What a pass.
Got it to Agbede. Are you kidding me?
What a pass, though, by Yante Maton. Nemi Jurisic, who used to play at Georgia, was a great interior passer. Maton was a freshman. He played the role of Jurisic, and Agbede, he played the role of Thornton. A nice job finishing and drawing the contact.
Agbede completes the 3-point play. 11 points for him, 5 for 5 from the field. Kevin Knox with 3 fouls is out of the game for Kentucky. I've barely seen Nick Richards in this second half. A whole lot of Gabriel for Kentucky. A lot of Washington with the 3 fouls. Late in the game where that doesn't matter quite as much. Here is PJ. On Agbede. Gilgeous-Alexander is there.
A good decision to settle it down.
Nice crossover by Gilgeous-Alexander, through the contact, and he'll get back to the line on the foul by Harris.
Kevin, I promise you that was a better attempt than what he would have had on that initial, when the ball came loose and he caught the ball in his hands. If he would have shot that shot, it would not have been a good shot. He was unsettled. The team was unsettled. By settling yourself down, calming yourself, you find a seam, you find a gap, and then you elevate up and draw the foul. A great job and good composure by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Listen, he was not their highest ranked recruit. He was not even a 5-star, which in Kentucky terms almost makes you an afterthought. He has been as impressive as anybody, particularly the last couple of games. 24, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 4 assists against Louisville. And a super second half for Gilgeous-Alexander tonight. He's hearing a little pressure. Georgia breaks it to Hammonds. Picked up by Diallo. Back into the hands of their junior leader, Turtle Jackson, at point guard. Here's Maton. That's out of bounds off of Washington with 12 to shoot.
Kentucky, Sasha Gilgeous-Alexander.
Sasha Gilgeous-Alexander back in for Gabriel. Kevin Knox will return at the next whistle for Kentucky. Jackson draws Washington defensively. Washington looking at a piece of that. A big hits it on the rim, and Hammonds delivers. Here are the Cats quickly, though, and a nice move by Washington to draw the foul.
But what about the finish at the opposite end of the floor by Hammonds? The shot clock was winding down. Ogbede literally gets an offensive rebound from an air ball three-pointer. Just throws it up. Nobody there to put a body on him, and Hammonds able to finish. Out of desperation becomes opportunity for Hammonds.
One of the great freshmen in the SEC on one side, and one of the great freshmen in the conference on the other as Washington hits the first. Rayshawn Hammonds with another double-figure game. 8 points, 5 rebounds per game or so for the Bulldogs. New Year's resolutions looking pretty good for PJ. 2 for 2 at the line. This is once again a 2-point game. Georgia trying to win in Rupp for the first time since 2009. Snap a 9-game losing streak to Kentucky. Bulldogs team that lost so many close games to good teams last year ended up just shy of the tournament. Doesn't want to fumble away its shot today as Ogbede commits a turnover.
A missed opportunity that time for Georgia. And sometimes Ogbede, he's just got to settle it, chin it, stand strong, and find a teammate. They brought the double team on him, unable to handle it. And Georgia goes back to its zone. They've been doing a nice job trying to mix it up, change things to try to keep Kentucky off balance. This is where you might need to bring some help.
Gilgeous-Alexander, a three. Maton, blocked by Washington, the help side defender. And how about the play by Hammonds stepping in front of the pass? Gabriel takes it back away. Unsettled on both sides. Knox lays it in. Kentucky has its largest lead. Hammonds fouled by Washington.
The energy and the buzz back in Rupp Arena. After the freshmen make great plays back-to-back, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the outside, and it's Knox finishing in transition. The Cats up by 3. We told you from the start, the SEC this year much improved. Georgia part of that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trying to make a statement that he might deserve more attention than some of those 5 stars that came in. Rayshawn Hammonds and the Georgia Bulldogs have been fighting all night long here on New Year's Eve, trying to find themselves a victory on the road against Kentucky.
Boy, you and I and the folks watching this conference going to have a whole lot of fun with the SEC this year. A lot of teams that have NCAA tournament potential, Sweet 16 potential, Final Four potential. Georgia trying to make it back to the tourney and get a win here in Rupp against a Kentucky team that has scored 7 in a row. Before the break, P.J. Washington picked up his 4th foul. He stays in with Rayshawn Hammonds having a fabulous evening at the line. Hammonds 12 points, 5 rebounds. The freshman for the Bulldogs.
Getting closer and closer offensively to the balance that Mark Fox wants for this Bulldogs team.
It's the second. Ogbede fights for the rebound, and he was the last to touch it.
Now you look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is 3 of 8 shooting and has 18 points. He's been to the free throw line 11 times. That is putting your thumb down on this game and saying, I'm going to leave my mark.
Washington off the feed from Gabriel, fouled by Ogbede, and that's his 4th.
I think there's going to be a lot of free throw shot in the final 3 minutes and 29 seconds of this game.
Both teams in the double bonus. Kentucky has excelled in the line. You mentioned Gilgeous-Alexander as a team. Wildcats are 24 out of 28.
Not a single Wildcat has missed more than 2 free throws, with one exception, Quade Green. The rest of the team has only missed 1. Now Washington will go there and he'll miss his 2nd free throw of the game. But that's how good they've shot from the free throw line tonight. Excuse me, well, they've shot from the free throw line tonight. I didn't go to Syracuse like you.
Thankful for us all. Washington missed them both. The lead remains 2. Turtle Jackson guarded by Gilgeous-Alexander, 6'6" with a long wingspan. Maton inside on Washington and Gabriel. And it is Washington's 5th foul. P.J. Washington with 3:10 to go, disqualified from this game with 7 points.
And that's excellent execution for Georgia. And they knew that Washington was playing with 4 fouls. He's guarding Yante Maton. You get the ball to number 1's hands and you let him go. Now this is one aspect that they're trying to get rid of in the game, the extra timeout. Because a player fouls out, you're supposed to have 20 seconds to get that substitution in. You're not supposed to allow yourselves to have the coaches with the clipboards out, players getting water out on the floor.
Tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern ESPN, we start the new year with a Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Unbeaten UCF with new Nebraska coach Scott Frost in his final game for the Knights against 7th-ranked Auburn from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Streaming live on the ESPN
This is far too long. This is an extra timeout for John Calipari. I have no idea why the officials are allowing this to happen. This is not allowed. It was a point of emphasis this year for the NCAA. You've got to get, if player is disqualified, you've got to get 20 seconds to get a player in. You cannot stop the game and have an extra timeout. This officiating crew just allowed that to happen.
There's Kalia Jones into the game, which we figured was going to happen. Didn't need 70 seconds to sort out as Maton misses the free throw. Maton now 6 of 8 at the line. Three minutes to play. Opening day of the SEC. Kevin Knox. Diallo guarded by Harris. Blows by and scores with the left.
His first step is so lightning quick. They're running the exact same play, looking for Maton. Good defense by Gabriel.
Maton has not touched the ball on this possession. 20 seconds into the shot clock. Double high screen. Harris on the drive. Got it to go. First points for Jordan Harris. And they come on a possession where Maton didn't touch it and Georgia scores anyway. Here's Gilgeous-Alexander, 10 to shoot. On Jackson with the 4 fouls, he scores. Just too long and athletic. Timeout, Georgia.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now is the best player on Kentucky's roster. And I would dare anybody to debate me. Offensively, defensively, composure and growth. It's all there for 22.
We're standing by as soon as the game is done. And Rupp, the last game of the NFL season drastically changes the playoff picture in the AFC. Louis Riddick, Ryan Clark standing by. Boomer's going to phone in. Back to a good finish in Rupp, Kevin and Sean.
All right, thanks, Scott. Happy New Year to you. Look forward to Sports Center after the game with Scott and some special guests. What a night it has been, Sean, for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Well, in just every way, shape, and form, he has made an impact on the game. His aggressiveness, his defense, he hit the big three, yes, but this is where he excels. Attacking, utilizing his length, change of direction, change of speed, getting to the free throw line, and you look at the 20 points tonight, 24 versus Louisville. As you pointed out during the break, 31 minutes of game action, only 1 turnover to the 3 assists. So a good job also managing the offense.
Who will manage the offense now for Georgia? Jackson and Harris, the guards, with Hammonds, Ogbede, and Yante Maten.
Maten's worked in the back of the zone. If you're Kevin Knox, Sasha Kalia-Jones, you've got to be paying attention.
Harris lost it, got tripped up, no foul. It is Gilgeous-Alexander with the basketball.
If you're Kentucky, you want something going to the basket on this possession. You've got a 3-point lead. You can work the clock down almost to a minute.
Gabriel to 3. Gabriel!
That's great execution by Kentucky.
6-point game under a minute. Jackson at 3. No, not close.
That's a panicked shot by Turtle Jackson.
Foul here, you play it out.
I play it out now. I mean, you got 20 on the shot clock. You want to play good defense. You foul that, you might as well, you should have fouled as soon as they got the rebound.
And it's Jackson, and that's his 5th. And once again, we'll get essentially a bonus timeout on a foul out. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done it all tonight. He does not score this bucket, but he assists it. Finding Gabriel has had an active night.
Well, the great drag dribble off the screen, and then Gabriel comes from the weak side. And because Yante Maten went with the ball, Ogbede, who was guarding Gabriel, slid over to stop the dump down pass for the layup at the rim, and that's what opened up things so wide out on the perimeter for Gabriel. So impressed with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His growth as a player, his maturity in which he's playing with, and the new hairdo. He told me his mom wanted to get the haircut because she wanted him to look presentable. Well, he's been more than presentable in the last 2 games for the Kentucky Wildcats.
24 on Friday, 21 on Sunday. And Kentucky is 35 seconds away from ringing in the new year with a win. Ogbede from Crump, count the bucket, and he's fouled by Gabriel with a chance for 3. That's about the last thing in the world Kentucky wanted.
Gabriel, that's his 3rd.
Quade Green will check in now for Kentucky for Kalia-Jones, knowing that Georgia has to foul at this point. Kentucky, by the way, is not a great free throw shooting team.
They
69% on the season generally. They have bucked the trend though tonight. On 25 of 32, 78%. Ogbede with a miss. And a foul with Diallo collecting the rebound. Well, you play the percentages on the season, Georgia would feel better, but tonight Kentucky has scored 25 of its 64 from the line. Diallo is 4 for 4 there. And the Wildcats have a chance to pull out a hard-earned win in their SEC opener. The door left slightly ajar. Wow. Diallo misses both. Still a 2-possession game. Crump a long 3. Georgia ball with 18.8. Still quick 2-time here. You need a 3 now, you think?
I go for the 2. You got to go quick.
Crump thought about a 3. He is denied by Gabriel, but there's a foul. 3 Kentucky players were there. And it is Gabriel called for the personal, his 4th.
A good decision not to shoot the 3. It was going to be a contested 3 for Crump. Instead, he turns it down and gets the contact and gets to the free throw line.
Tyree Crump, 12 of 15 at the line this year. Sophomore from Bainbridge, Georgia.
Checking in for Kentucky is Quade Green.
Green will return for Kentucky. Tyshawn Hightower in for Ogbede for Georgia. Crump hits this. It's a 1-possession game. Worth noting Kentucky has all 3 timeouts in case of a desperate inbound situation. Crump hits both. Gabriel will take it out, find Quade Green, and Green is fouled.
If you're Georgia, you really can't choose who you want to foul in that situation. With 12 seconds left to go on the clock, as soon as the ball gets inbounded, no matter who it goes to, you've got to foul immediately. And Kentucky will not send anyone around Quade Green to try to even get a rebound here.
Green 15 of 17 at the foul line coming into tonight. 4 of 6 in the game. That's a big one. 2-possession game once again. Wildcats trailed for most of this game. Georgia's led it for nearly 30 minutes. But Kentucky may have the lead that matters.
And this is eerily similar to the contests from a year ago that were so tight. 1-possession, 2-possession games late for Georgia.
It was a season of heartbreak for Georgia at 19 and 15. They'll have some chances for some signature wins in this conference, but they're not going to get one today. 66-61. Diallo was fouled before the final buzzer, though. John Calipari realizes it.
I mean, I know we got SVP coming up later. I don't know what the line was, but it could be a bad beat.
Yeah.
Stanford Steve, I'm sure, knows what the line is, but a foul with what's going to be probably under a second left to go on the clock that has already been decided.
Again, the game's over. The foul was called before the final buzzer. In fairness to the officials, the clock operator simply let it run down. I mean, listen, you want to get an early start in your New Year's Eve plans. Folks have some reservations after the game, maybe.
Well, let's talk about what we've seen tonight. What we've seen is what we're going to see all of the SEC schedule is that it's going to be highly competitive between a lot of these teams on a night in, night out basis. I mean, this conference is so improved with its depth. The Mississippi States, the Auburns of the world, to go along with the Texas A&Ms. Missouri, who was a non-factor for the last 3 years, all of a sudden a factor for the NCAA tournament. There is no easy game this year in the SEC, and so you're going to see a lot of games similar to this.
This look like a 7-8 bid league to you?
Yes.
I know it's early, but projecting with what you've seen.
It is definitely a 7 or 8 team league, and I think it could be 8. And I think Georgia might be one of those teams.
Bulldogs going to have some more shots. Mark Fox's team plays John Calipari's Wildcats tough again, but no moral victories here in the SEC opener. It's Kentucky 66, Georgia 61. A perfect weekend for the Wildcats. For Sean Farnham and our crew, I'm Kevin Brown. Happy New Year, everyone. Time for SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt.